nationals on the podium when Mr. Viren Singh, when he called on for the bronze, he was like talking about me for 5 minutes, called my son on the podium. Even in the weirdest dream, neither did I have any kind of a thing that they would call my son. And when he came and stood there, it just meant everything. Just imagine, rewind 4 years back when I was watching that video. Did I ever think of how would I connect myself with the Olympic winner? That was like a thing. I something touched me, but I couldn't believe that this happened to me 4 years. That is what I wanted cycling to be for me, because I used to like think, okay, I am dreaming of this dream. So what if I don't achieve anything? What if I don't make a big mark? Then it shouldn't be like I have a bad feeling towards cycling. Then later on in my life, I would always like look back at this episode and think, oh my god, I wasted my time on it. I shouldn't be having. So this, I wanted to embrace cycling. No matter what, whether I win or I lose, I always have a positive feel when I look back at it. Told my mind that if I'm going to focus on the win, I'm going to lose my joy. Yeah, very soon I would fade off. Probably there is one more strong rider and she wins, then I would not want to even come back to the racing scenario. So I kind of had that mature thought to say that no matter who wins or who I lose or whatever, I need to just better myself from the last race. Don't limit yourself. Be out there, and when you're competing, there is absolutely then don't when I'm competing, I don't bring in my age. Yeah, I am equal to 21-year-old girl or 19-year-old girl who's still participating and racing there. So do not have your excuses then. If you make up your mind, do not have your excuse. So there is you will be able to do if your mind really loves something and is going there.
I am Baiki Venki, and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guest is an inspirational lady. She was told that this isn't the age to follow a passion. She was told that you can't dream when you are a mother. She was told you should have started earlier. But she dreamt. She dreamt in spite of being a single mother of 2 kids. She dreamt in spite of many odds against her. She worked hard to make those dreams come true. She picked herself up every time fate knocked her off and kept going after her dreams. And earlier this month, she stepped on the national podium by bagging a bronze medal in women's individual time trial at the Indian National Cycling Championships. She missed gold by a fraction of a second. Her name is Abhirami Manoharan. Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast, Abhi. It's great having you on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Venki. It's a big pleasure to be in your program. Thank you so much.
First of all, heartily congratulations for your podium again at the Nationals.
Thank you.
It was fantastic to watch that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
So, first of all, let us start with how it all started. Were you active in sports in school?
No, I was never a sports girl. No, I was always into dance. Yeah, the fine arts, yes.
Yeah, dance and
but not a sports girl. Yeah.
But how did you end up picking up a bike, and when was this?
Oh, that was after 2 kids. When you're like on, when you have put on a lot of weight and you're going to school to drop the kids, you see all like some fit moms, then you are like, okay, I need to as well start my fitness journey. So that's how it started. Like, I started gym, went for a few months, and then kind of didn't go, and then Zumba for a few months, and I lost interest in it. So one of ladies group, they organized ladies cycling weekend where we could go and rent a bike and ride on the beautiful stretch of East Coast Road in Chennai.
Mhm.
So that's how I came across the message, and I thought, okay, let me just go and try it. So it was like really a fantastic experience. First time riding a cycle after like many years. I used to go and cycle to bicycle to school. So that's it. So when
Yeah.
I was riding the cycle, it just got me back those memories. It was a very good feeling when I rode it. So that's how it started.
Okay. When was this?
So this
Which
was
year?
in 2015, 2014 and 2015 beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so you joined this weekend women's ride, and then
Good. Yeah.
yeah, it felt good. So you continued riding after that. How did that initial
Uh,
days go?
yeah, one day of riding and then you come and sleep for like 2 days, right? Your body's completely gone. But I was like looking forward for the next week. But it was
Okay.
just on and off. Of course, my kids were also young then, so it's
Right.
like in weekends are the time with kids as well. So yeah, I was like kind of very irregular, but I always wanted to
Okay.
go back and pick up the
Mm.
cycle. But also I was just conscious that I shouldn't be investing in a cycle soon, because that's what I it happened with the gym and with the Zumba. You buy shoes, you buy the dress, but it just you do music a few feet and that's it, right? So
Right.
I didn't want the cycle to be one one rusting at home.
Yeah.
So I did give it a time, like 6 to 8 months. And when I really thought, okay, no matter what, I like doing it. So that's when I then got a bike for myself. And but before that itself, we once went for Mrs. Gayatri Rajan. She was arranging she was leading the women's group. So she once informed that there is a local race that's happening. Let's all go participate. So like we all went, and that was probably one race where there were like more than 20 women participating in that local race.
Wow.
It was fun, on a rented bike. But that's when I also saw how the real cyclists are. Yeah, wearing the kit, the shoes, the helmet, and doing the serious race. So for me, they look like people from a different world. And I was like happy, trying to rank in the 20 girls. Probably I would have come 13th or something. Felt very good about it. But I liked it. I liked what the adrenaline rush it gave. Right? So whatever you are. So that's how it kind of went on. And then I bought a bike, then started my regular rides.
Okay. So until then, you were renting a bike for these weekend rides.
Yes.
Okay. So and you gave it enough time and you participated again and again, and then you decided after a few months that okay, this is something that I really like, and then
Yeah.
decided okay, it is finally time to invest in a good bike. And
Yes, yes, yeah. It
uh,
wasn't like a good bike, but by then I hadn't decided on racing and stuff. It was
yeah,
just that, okay, whenever I can, I would get up, take my cycle and go out for a ride. Why do I have to wait for the support back then from those people to give me a bike on a rent?
right.
So so I just bought yeah, a bike.
Okay. So when was this your first bike? Buying that first?
This was towards the end of 2015.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
So it took about almost an year to
yeah.
from getting introduced to bike ride and then getting your first bike.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's
Awesome.
like, probably monthly once I would go, once or twice I would go out for a ride. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, it kind of took its own time.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Okay. So you said that before you picked up your own bike as well, you participated in your first race. Okay.
Yes.
So did that have any say in your decision to find, say, in the decision to buy a bike, saying, okay, I love this?
Yes, I mean, it was also one factor.
Okay.
I liked it how it was like, you just go there unprepared, but those 24 kilometers, you're like huffing and puffing and riding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been probably a speed of 24 or 25, but that's a big speed, right? You're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
riding your heart out for like 1 hour
Yeah.
with so many thoughts coming in. Damn, I need to get fit. Why am I struggling? Because back then I thought riding a race for a strong athlete is something that would be easy. And because I wasn't fit, I'm huffing and puffing.
Okay.
But then I didn't know that it never gets easy as
Right.
you climb up the ladder. You're still giving your heart out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get faster, but never gets easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, and from then on, how were your, once you got your bike, how did your riding change? Did you get more regular? How did that go?
Okay, so this G3 women's group is predominant. It was active only for the weekend. So
Hmm.
once you buy a bike, you want to do a justice, yeah, taking out much more often. So that's when I just joined. There was one more group by Srinath Rajan sir, a husband of Gayatri Madam. So it was yeah, the group is CJR, Chennai Joy Riders. So
Hmm.
I kind of started riding with them. So that was a huge group. So we had cyclists of every the speed zones. So once in a while I would go for a weekday, but still I wasn't getting consistent. It is just that probably if I have a choice, there's always a group that starts from the set start point.
Right.
So if I wake up and things are fine, I would go join them for a ride. So thereby I got a freedom to ride whenever I felt like, because there was always someone starting from the start line.
Hmm.
So I wasn't consistent, but to start with, there were these people. So I just slowly started, and then I started feeling like I didn't know that probably the more you ride, the more stronger you become, the more
Right.
faster you become. It's not just your mind. We
Hmm.
need to as well put in the efforts. So that by slow and steady, I started riding more often, and Srinath sir was also there to, basically give a lot of advice. And he would say, always ride with a faster group, push yourself to get faster, try to catch them. So for me, even if I would ride for that 1 hour, I would be always serious. I didn't look forward to kind of mingle and talk. That was not my joy zone. For me, it was like, okay, I am going today. I have this opportunity to come in, so I need to push myself. So I would constantly be looking for someone who's in front of me, trying to catch them. And then when I finish my ride, it would be like, okay, okay, quick, I need to get back to, get my kids, wake them up and get them ready. So naturally, I was like pretty serious in cycling for me. It was not a place for me to socialize. I never saw it that way. For me, it was like, okay, I need to do it, that kind of a thing. It just started from beginning back then. Yeah.
Right. So always racing, right from the start, even on those joy rides, to kind of
Yeah.
get on the wheel of the faster riders, and
Yes.
get that rush, and then rush back home to the kids and taking care of them.
Yes.
It's always racing
Yeah. Yeah.
against the time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is it that kind of made you most alive? Was it just being on the bike, or pushing all the time? What gave you that feeling of looking forward to the next ride?
Okay. Back then, we always strive for something that we don't have. Yeah. So back then, I was not at all consistent. Yeah. Because, 1 week, oh, probably my daughters say, then, you don't even think about cycling. Then you get back to. So back then, my thing was like, I wanted to be consistent. I want to be kind of at least serious. Yeah. Serious mattered consistency for me back then. Yeah, but as I grew up the ladder, for me, it was like more about bettering myself. So
Mhm.
once I got consistent, I wanted to better myself. That's how I wanted to define. Cause when I was starting, when I started on this, and I started to go for the local races. There were other cyclists as well who were like much better than me, and they were being already very consistent. So it was like one the first race when I won, they weren't actually, I got the first place. So I was very happy about it. But also back in my mind, I knew it was because the riders were actually not there for the race. Yeah,
Okay.
probably I was competing with other joy riders. So that's how I got first. So though I was happy, back in my mind, I was like, no, I need to compete with them and, win.
Mhm.
So I started, my mind was like on that. So I knew that I had also, but the next race when I went, I wasn't even placed third. So, suddenly you see the win and then you're not even there in the top three. Yeah. So I kind of told my mind that if I'm going to focus on the win, I'm going to lose my joy. Yeah. Very soon I would fade off. Probably there is one more strong rider and she wins, then I would not want to even come back to the racing scenario.
Mhm.
So I kind of had that mature thought to say that no matter who wins or like, I lose or whatever, I need to just better myself from the last race. That
Mhm.
is what I looked forward
Okay.
to. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's how I kept my mind.
Awesome, awesome. So that's a very great point, right? First of all, you have to look at the things that you are not able to do at that point. Say you were not able to be consistent initially, and you looked at the consistency aspect of it, just trying to be
Yeah,
consistent, being riding consistently at regular intervals. And then once you got into that consistent mode, you said, okay, I need to be bettering myself from my last
yeah,
performance. That's an excellent
yes.
way to look at things. Were you by what year were you able to, say, by 2016, were you able to ride more consistently, or was it like more
Uh,
later?
2016 was again on and off, on and off. So I would say by 2017 is when I actually started riding half. From 2017 June onwards, I was able to ride consistent thanks to the indoor trainer.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the main factor. Because weekdays, we have a place here by name Cycles. They had these smart trainers.
Hmm.
So that was the time when I actually got back, picked up my cycle after a gap of probably 5 months or so.
Hmm.
So that was a time when my mentor Srinath Rajan sir also said there is some about he spoke about the training with power meters,
Hmm.
and then he was like, why don't you check out this place, Cycles? They have these smart trainers. So I would drop the kids at school, take my bike and set my bike on the trainer, and I would work out with the power. I started working out with the power. It was
Hmm.
like and Srinath sir also gave me a 12-day workout plan that
Hmm.
I could follow. So I was like super joyed because that was the start of my the workout, the planned workout. It was really good. It's like 1 hour 15 minutes or 1.5 hours. You know that you have spent your energy in a proper way. So yeah, so that's how it started. I started getting consistent because of the trainer.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
weekdays, I'm riding, and weekends I go out and ride. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in 2017, you pick up your own trainer, or was it at Psychos that you were
Yeah, it
trying?
was at Cycles. I didn't. It was in 2018 beginning. I picked up my trainer. Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
thanks to this indoor training facility that you started more regularly working out and training per se in
Yeah.
proper sense. Okay.
Yes.
And talking of for 2018, I think the first time I noticed you and I noticed how strong you were was at the Togo Masters Championships in 2018, right?
Yes. Yes.
And to take part in that, you have to be 35 or above. And at that time, was it difficult to call yourself a master's athlete?
No, never. I always feel proud of it. It was like, in fact, I think I was thinking I was young. I mean, when someone said, "Are you going for?" Asked me, "Are you going for two goals?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I'm ready." And that's when, okay, let me sit and count. I know what's my age. And I was like, 35. Okay, okay. Let me just count it from 80, 84, 85. And then I was like, "Wow, I'm 35, so I can participate." It was like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you won the road race there, right? And how
Yeah.
did you do
ITT
in
and
IITT and road race? Okay, so
yes.
how was the experience there, 2018?
It was, I think, yeah, I would have traveled to MVS Crit at Coimbatore once before that. So this was like first time, coming to Bangalore for the to go championship. It was a very good experience. It is like an event for us, yeah. I mean, the real 35 plus. So it was like it was really cool. It was very well organized, and especially the road race. Oh, we all, I mean, like men and women, we all started together. So I was like, oh, what is this? If we like, obviously you're going to be like much more faster. So how is it that we are going to do a breakaway or whatever? But it was so nice that you guys had all decided to let the women go because we had only a few laps, like a few lesser laps than you. So you
Right,
let us compete the real race, yeah.
right.
So that was a very good, thoughtful gesture. I was like, okay, so then I had to do a race. That was nice.
Yeah. So that in that race you were competing with Nisha
Nisha.
Madgavkar, and
Yeah,
and you guys were both in the masters, the men peloton, and
yeah,
I mean, I think the rest of the women got dropped, but you guys were as strong as any of us, and you were able to
yeah,
hold on. And when I think you guys had a one lap lesser than what we had. So when it came to your last lap, we slowed down a
yeah.
little bit so that you guys can carry on with your race. And
Yes, yes.
it was great to see real racing in women's at that level as well, right?
Yeah, thanks to Deepak. Actually, he took a live coverage, right? After, I mean, when we do a lot of races, but the videos or the coverages that is done at the race keeps the memory for a longer period of time. Yeah,
Correct,
so
correct.
that actually showed, wow, there is some action happening in the racing scene. That was actually nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
so
actually, I would say, my first race. That was like super, yeah, the neck to neck kind of a thing.
correct. And both of you were together till the last kilometer, and then you attacked in the last kilometer, I think, to take the win, right?
Yeah, it was just that like 2 kilometers before she took the lead,
Mhm.
and I was like sticking behind the wheel, and then kind of finished it in the what a so-called sprint.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So, and you came again in 2019 as well, and uh, did the again took the ITT and the road race.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
It
and
was
again,
2019. That year, I had decided that I would be coming to Bangalore often to race.
hmm,
Yeah, because back then I was comfortable racing and winning the Chennai circuit. So yeah, before then, 2017, I just would want to say that in Chennai we had like two, three strong women competitors. So I wanted to like consistently win and set a base. So
hmm,
2018 was with that. I kind of said, okay, no matter what, whenever I would go, I would win.
hmm,
So that's how I kind of achieved that. And 2019, it was like I constantly wanted to grow up the ladder.
hmm,
2019, I said, okay, I shouldn't be comfortable winning. So Bangalore has a lot of very strong riders. Yeah, so I wanted to reach out to Bangalore and race there consistently. And then, it is nice to, ride with a strong cyclist and learn from them. Yeah, so that's how 2019 I decided, okay, Bangalore will be a place that I would be going
Okay.
with. Yeah.
Okay. So you how was that experience in compared to 2018? The 2019 field had a little bit less of a competition in women's.
Yeah, 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 yeah. By
Mm,
then, it just got easy. So
mm,
I would say ITT, I won, but it wasn't the race that when you race under pressure, you're like, every millisecond counts. You're like constantly stomping the pedals, no matter what. But when you know that, hey, I can win this, then, obviously that's not going to be the best one. But the next day, road race, since I was with the men, that was like, pushing myself. But I loved it because, you're setting the next benchmark. Yeah, so that's
right.
nice. Yeah, that was,
That,
I enjoyed the road race. Yeah.
yeah, the again it was a 74-kilometer race, and you were there with the men peloton throughout, and did a
Yeah.
great race. I think that
Yeah.
that kind of really gave you the the push, right? The That's why you
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot more than the ITT, I guess.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Awesome. When when was your first nationals participation?
That was in year 2017 itself.
Okay.
So what happened? 2017, when I started riding, I said 2017 June onwards, I started riding often. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we have MRC race group that every month we have a road race happening.
Mm.
So that was the first initially the start of the road race scenario in Chennai.
Mm.
It was very normal that we cyclists ladies we would get dropped in first 5 kilometers itself because that's when the surges really happen. Or I
Mm.
mean to
Mm.
divide the group, and then we would end with the end separately. We would finish the race separately, or probably with the third bunch or fourth bunch.
Mm.
So during October, I guess, was the first road race where I actually finished with the first bunch of men. And so
Mm.
everyone were like, wow, amazing. That was an average of probably 40 or 41 or whatever. So when I finished the race, everyone were like, wow, Abhi, this is amazing. Everyone were excited for me. And that's when one person, Mr. Selva Kumar, he walked up to me and he said, Madam, you did really good. Why don't you come for the state meet? It is always it's a state meet that is not on the social media, right?
Mm.
You don't get the news of when it's happening and
Mm.
stuff. You need to be in contact with the officials and athletes who are actually going there. So
Right.
I was like, okay, when is it happening? And he said it's happening next week. And I was like, okay. I said, okay, let me just give it a go. So I traveled to Trichy, near Trichy, the state meet happened. It was like for you would know how these races state meet happen. So for women, it was like a 10-kilometer road race. We had to win it, and obviously I won that. So when I won that, the president came and asked me, "What do you want to do, Ma? Do you want to go to nationals?" I was like, wow, suddenly a big name nationals comes in. And I was like, okay, yes, sir, I would go. So when is it? He said, okay, that would happen in next 2 weeks. And I was like, 2 weeks, okay. So probably my first nationals was never something that I even had it in mind. It just happened, and I
Right.
just went with the flow. So yeah, that's how the first nationals happened. It was like when I walked into it happened in Jamkandi, Karnataka.
Right.
So that was the time when I walked in there. I knew what real racing is.
Right.
Cyclists from every state, the way they dressed, the confidence they had, because I was still wearing capris then.
Mm.
Yeah, so when I lined up in TTT itself, the officials had told that no, she has to be in shorts. I didn't know it. So So the next day was the first road race. I had selected road race and crit.
Mm.
Because back then I thought I was very good in sprints. I
Mm.
mean, in Chennai I was good in sprints, so that's it. So I thought, okay, yeah, I'm for a road race and a crit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I lined up for the road race, they said no, you cannot wear 3/4, and I was like, I have never worn
Shots.
shorts.
Yeah.
They were like, no, 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 you cannot race, and then I had to pull up my KPs, and I was like, oh my god, I feel so shy. Why would I be there? And yeah, but yeah, it was super fun there.
So
It was like
you
walking into a different world.
so you had to make your capris into shots and for you to race.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And did you?
But I probably got dropped in first 10 kilometers. I rode alone for another 10 kilometers. By then, the sweeping vehicle came behind and he was like honking. I
uh,
said, okay, let me just back up my cycle and save my energy for the next crit race.
right.
Yeah.
How was that crit race though? Did you do better
Oh,
there?
crit race happened inside the town. It
Yeah.
was like I would say one of the best as of now that I've seen because it
Mm.
was really a loop of 3 kilometers turning, and there were like thousands of people on the either side
Watching.
cheering up, and the scene itself was like fantastic. But that's when I realized the sprints are definitely not my point. Yes, I finished probably 11th or so,
Right.
but it was just that once the girls, they kind of run out, they just quit. And I was
Mm.
thinking, okay, see, I didn't quit. I wrote till the last, so I'm the best kind of.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was your first nationals experience.
Yeah.
And 2018, you after you took part in the Masters Championships in June, July, right? That happened, and
Yes.
you were training for 2018 nationals. When in
Yeah.
September, you were on the road training for your nationals, and you had a terrible crash. As an
Yes.
as I understand, someone intentionally kicked your rear wheel or something. What happened?
Yeah. 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 So 2000, after 2017 nationals, when I came back, I decided I'm going to focus now on for nationals and get myself better. So
Mm.
that 1 year, I had started my coaching as well with my coach, and then I had been, yeah, I got the trainer. I said everything step on step to get regular, to get the things. So 2000, just before the nationals, probably 2 months before the nationals, I was training on the road. We started as a group, but then I had my first 15 minutes of warm up. And as we crossed the toll, everyone they took off for their ride. I had 3 more minutes of my warm up still. So I was like, that was a gap that I was riding actually alone. So there were two guys on a bike where the brilliant rider came kind of close to me and kicked my rear wheel. So I kind of flew off and fell, then just got unconscious. So yeah, they had to take me to hospital. Had
Wow.
a broken tooth, lot of cuts, and like yeah, head injury, and yeah. So it took me a few weeks to recover.
So how long did it take for you to recover from that and get back on the bike?
Okay, so first 10 days I was in the hospital. Then when I came back, obviously, since it was something with the head, they wanted me to be in recovery for like 4 weeks, just to make sure that there is nothing. And obviously, the heart rate shouldn't be rising.
Mm.
So I gave it the time. And then after 4 weeks, when it was fine for me, like I took like 1.5 weeks of riding just zone 1, just getting it done, and then by then it was almost close to nationals, but still
Mhm.
I went to nationals because I thought, okay, this year I'll not be able to perform as much as it is, because
Mm.
you would know, right, before an event it's like the 8 weeks is
Yeah,
a very important stage when you have to prepare,
correct,
and
correct.
that was the time I was out. But I was like, okay, if not this year, let me take it as an experience. Whatever it is, let me go out, ride and see, take it as an experience, and
Yeah.
probably give the best in the next year. But still, I
Hmm.
went and yeah, I gave the best. Yeah.
Okay. So How did you do there? Were you able to stay with the group and ride? And how was it in terms of performance and experience?
Okay. ITT, I was placed 13th.
Okay.
So that was my level. And the road race, I got dropped in first 5 kilometers or so.
Hmm.
But I was like, no, I'm gonna ride. So I was like riding, pushing, 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 and I could see that all the girls were getting dropped off. I asked them to join me. Few didn't, few joined, but could not take turns to. I mean,
Hmm.
they weren't strong to take turns.
Right.
With just probably the last U-turn that I was taking, I went and caught up with the group again.
Wow.
So that was an amazing thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Then I had 10 more kilometers to finish the race. I was like, okay, let me just stay and rest with the group because I had been riding alone for all the while.
Yeah.
And then I would start my sprint.
Hmm.
But when the sprint actually came, these girls just rocketed, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So,
with
but I was happy that yeah, I went and caught up with the group. Yeah, I was very happy with
yeah,
that.
with the
Yeah.
kind of setback you had very close to the event, and doing that
Yes.
well was really creditable. Well
Yes.
done there.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. And now, then you also took part in 2019 nationals. How was the preparation leading up to there, and how was it like a good jump in performance in 2019?
2019 was the time when my coach was like, okay, why don't you look at, because I had by then decided, okay, ITT is my thing. So close to nationals, like 4 from 5 months before, my coach was like, would you want to look at taking an IT like TT bike? Because the road bike, a lot of, you need to the bike fits have to be done to suit that, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, for me, investing in anything regarding to cycling was beyond my comfort zone, because with as women, as I wasn't earning my I'm not a professional to earn my own money. So for me, it was like something, a luxury investment that I'm doing. So every investment that I did, I really thought about it, whether is it really needed at that point of time and stuff. So, and when my coach, after 2 years, he told me about a TT bike, I knew that it was really something that I needed at that point of time.
Hmm.
So then I asked my father. Yes, we know we got a good bike, but it kind of, I got my bike probably 2 months before my nationals.
Okay.
Bringing it down here was like a big problem and stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, there again I did a small mistake. When I set my bike, I kind of looked into all the aspects, and when I first did a first ride in it, I was like feeling something was off, something was off. Half an hour down the lane, I figured out the crank length was actually not. I kind of missed on that. And
Hmm.
though I got a small XS size, the crank length was 172. Women
Okay.
probably the to suit in their kind of a jean. So I realized, and I then got my size crank, but then I ended up with a very bad catch.
Okay.
Just half an hour riding into a different length kind of caused the thing. And I had a state meet coming in a week.
Okay.
I was like, I could not even move for next 2 days. I was like kind of bedridden. I had to go to the physiotherapist. Tell him, please, I need to at least go and show my face in the state meet, because only when you get selected in the state, you can go to the nationals,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, it was. But I would say for the nationals, then I hadn't had enough ride outdoors in my TT bike.
Hmm.
See, it is always said that the more expensive the bike is, people think you are naturally faster. No, it
Hmm.
is not like that. You
Yeah.
need to kind of gel with the bike. You
Right.
need to you need to kind of like get in sync with the bike. Yeah. I hadn't had that thing because of the accident the before year. From the day of my accident, I made sure I'm not riding alone.
Hmm.
I didn't want to take risk. It is not something that I challenge my bravery. No, it is not that. I have
Yeah.
2 kids at home, so
Right.
I would never want to risk anything.
Hmm.
And from that year onwards, as the nationals comes close by, my mind is again stressed with these thoughts as well. Oh my God, I need to be fine to reach the start line of the nationals.
Right.
So that 1 month I couldn't ride outdoor much at all. I had
Mm.
my TT bike on the trainer, but then I
Mm.
didn't have this, comfort with the bike.
Right.
So in terms of power and everything, yes, I did really well. But I know back in mind that probably there was something that missed. So 2019 nationals, I was ranked eighth in ITT,
Okay.
and road race, I was comfortably with the group, but again with the sprint is what thing. But that's when I decided, okay, road race I cannot win staying with the group. I need to do some breakaway
Mm.
to get on. But otherwise, the race is actually other very easy. It's very easy, much easier than what the master races that I do locally here.
Right.
That's because we are with the
Mm.
boys.
Right.
Yeah, that's when I found out another theory of how to go about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So in the club races, you tend to start with the
with the
boys and
boys.
with the amateur field or masters field and stuff like that, and you would naturally want be pushing a little uh, bit further than your limits, while at their nationals with the women peloton, I think they still at this point of time, over the last few years I have seen the safe kind of riding,
Approach.
safe approach
Yeah,
uh, is gone out from the men's field now, because
yeah,
of people like NJ and others trying to do
yeah,
these really, trying to consciously make the races hard. The
yeah,
peloton that defensive riding from the peloton is a lot less seen in the recent years, especially in
yeah, yeah,
2017 onwards. What I have
yeah.
noticed is that the races have become much more aggressive. I
Yes,
Now I think that aggressiveness is still a little missing from the women's field, I guess.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe you have you and a couple of others can light up the women's field in the coming years.
Yeah, sure. Cause my the thing was I don't have a proper team from the a little stronger team from Tamil Nadu.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when down the point I decided, okay, road races will not be my main event, but ITT would be my main event. But no
Right,
matter what, I would be riding strong and stuff.
right.
But as you rightly pointed out, the women peloton, they it's not that you try a breakaway. There are few others who are joining, and then we start working with each other to make a breakaway consistent. That is not happening. Cause they would catch me up, but they would not want to work back, but want to go back to the peloton. It's like with my broken Hindi, I would tell them, "Come on, let's ride," and then like they just slow down and they would get the actually entire bunch. It is like
Right.
probably they would want their entire team to be there.
Right. So they,
So
they, they would
yeah.
probably be working for their teammate, and the person who joined you would just be, their role would just be to cover the attacks and sit on.
You know what? There was one instance even in this race where one girl from one team she did a search, but
Hmm.
her own teammates got the entire bunch to her. I was like, what's happening here? So it was like everyone wants to be together as a bunch till the sprint.
Okay.
So I that is something that I couldn't
Okay.
understand.
That level of strategy
Yeah,
is not there yet, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
But coming to 2020 nationals, which happened in 2021
21.
March, that is earlier this month. So, how was the preparation leading up to this, and how did it go? 2020 was a crazy year for all of us, right? With the
Yeah, yeah,
lockdown and the pandemic. So, how did
yeah.
your own training go, and how did you manage?
Okay, so 2020, almost like the first, yeah, with the lockdown and the thing. For me, actually, it didn't make much difference because either ways, my 80% of my training was indoor.
Right.
Yeah, and in fact, I was like happy because everyone were like coming on Swift.
Okay.
There were like a lot of participation. So I was like, wow, this is what I am like doing, and I would continue to do. But just training within the four walls with no races happening. See, I would say that as cyclists and even as a person who's training indoor, at every point you think that you need some races where you test yourself, where there's a little pat on the back. Hey, you're doing good. You have improved. Those things are constantly something that our mind craves too.
Right.
Just go on and on with the training again. Otherwise, it gets very boring. So
Right.
the first 6 months, 7 months was like that. So I just wanted to do, okay, probably Swift races and stuff, and just be happy with the power that I did. Not the ranking, but at least the power that I did and stuff. So when slowly little things opened up and we were able to go outdoor, I actually found I was doing less power outdoor than compared to indoor.
Wow.
So it was like, oh my God, I have to, it's actually the other ways, but
Right.
getting too comfortable with indoor was also a thing.
Yeah.
But then luckily, thankfully, we in Chennai, we had the first, no contact ITT that happened. And every month we had no contact ITTs by two
Mhm.
groups, the MRC and the WCCG, both of them were conducting a lot of, every month I had two ITTs. That is when I got so comfortable with my TT bike because I had the opportunity to go ride, to come back, to look at the picture, to change, to make some tweaks, get back the pacing, learn a lot about pacing, and also by then I had joined my group Vedo Amici, and I had a lot of people who were like giving me a lot much more strategies, Adarsh, talking, making the tweaks with the arrow. So I continuously had the races to get better. So
Right.
it's like thanks to the no contact IPTs that I did.
So
So that helped me improve a lot.
you got to try the bike a lot more and become very comfortable with it, and adjust the fit so that it is much better for you and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
Very.
also get confident that I can do this power. The
Hmm.
thing was, 80% time, I was doing my ride indoor. So my mind was telling when I'm riding outdoor, I wasn't confident in doing the same power number that I did indoor. It is
Hmm.
also most majority it's with our mind. It is
Right.
not, that plays into it. Because my coach would constantly say, no, you'll be able to do the power outside. It's just your mind. It's just mind. So I had time to kind of, tell myself that, hey, yes, I can do this power, and it is kind of there in me.
Right.
Yeah, I took the time. Yeah.
And the races will also give you that opportunity, right? Time and again to, if you fail today to do that, and the next race is there, then the weekend after or the weekend after, and the
Yeah.
races typically motivate you a lot more than say normal workouts.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that would help
Yeah.
as well. Awesome.
Yes, yes, yeah. You go to the start point, you're like having that thing to push, for the next 40, 50 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't come in the usual rides.
Yeah, yeah. So the road to the nationals, were like the preparation wise, seems to have gone smoothly enough. But
Yes.
how was the experience just to make it to the start line of nationals and at the nationals itself?
Okay. Usually before every nationals, this is where I would like to give a huge kudos to all the athletes who make it to the start line.
Yeah.
Because you have to finish something called the state meet. Every state has its own politics that's happening. Everything is kept hanging till the minute you go. See, training part each and day in and day out, we are like wanting to, you dream of the start line. Yeah, so that is all done perfect by the athletes. But the journey to the start line actually starts from the state association, like that really gets you into a stress where actually it is the path is rough. you know.
Yeah.
Beyond that, all those tension, again, to keep your mind focused on giving your best is little, it's actually a difficult one, you know. Then, you know, you arrange your travel to the nationals, you're there with the changes in the timing, suddenly you got a rush, or suddenly you're just sitting there waiting in the hot sun for like 2 hours, 3 hours, you don't know when to eat, the nutrition part. I wonder, because as an athlete, you know, you would know that, you know, for example, the BBCH races, you give a start time, yeah,
Right.
7
Yeah.
to you start. So
Yeah.
I can plan my nutrition, I can plan everything. You know, I'm there at, I can plan my warm up. You are there at the start point, everything fuck up perfect. But do
Yeah.
you think this happens in nationals? Do you think this happens in state? No. So how can you expect an athlete to give you 100% on the main day? That doesn't happen. So this
Right.
is something that constantly bothers me. Yeah, I know I have a good support from my father, from my teammates, but still not enough. Like, you know, enough thing to do my 100%. But still, you know, I don't have anything. I do not want to complain compared to other athletes, you know, who are put into all these things, and it's so sad to see them, you
Right.
know, not given the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing with you know, I have huge respect for anyone who does well in these events, be it the state meets
Yeah.
or the nationals, because the way they perform, the conditions in which they perform, and the sudden nature of changes in schedules is
Yeah.
crazy. Because I know we I know we kind of look at it from an athlete perspective and say this is, crazy because there are so many changes. So one thing, the race that you are supposed to start at 9 in the morning starts at 2 in the afternoon. How are you supposed to, plan your nutrition or anything, everything?
Exactly. You don't know when to eat. You don't know when you will be called. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, probably due to some reason they postpone it, but there was a time. Yeah.
yeah.
At least for me, this road race, I was given, like, you know, we were given the time schedule. Yeah. So my road race was supposed to start at 9.
Mm,
And every day they also, the day before, they send a revised schedule. Because, you know, if there are any changes, they would kind of, you know, make it. So even the revised schedule that I got at 7:30 before night, the day before night, was like 9. So I had planned. I booked a cab for 9:30, thinking, oh, sorry, 7:30. Okay, half an hour travel. I'll be there at 8. I have 1 hour. Okay, so everything is done. I woke up at 6:15. I had my coffee and I'm like sitting, and suddenly I get a call. Ma'am, they have called. The first call is done for women elite road race. I was in my room, not even like, you know, just in my night dress. I was like, what? And they say, no, 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 they wanted to start it early. I had to rush it. And they had, and he said the first call is made. And I had to like rush just when, you know, when we were a kid and, you know, pick my cycle, go down. There were no taxi available, no auto available. And that's a half an hour drive even. And then my father had to go, just pull in some taxi. I'm getting in the taxi and they're saying the third call is made. I thought, okay, that's it. I will not be able to participate. So I told my dad, okay, relax. I think we're going to miss the race. It is okay. So as I was nearing, it was hadn't started till then. I was like, okay, probably even if they start, let me start my ride even after 5 minutes. I would just go ride at least because, you know, I'm there. Thankfully, I just go there, put my, you know, set my cycle, you know, with wheels, just, and the race starts. So I hadn't had my pre-ride nutrition, whatever. Everything has gone out of course. You know, whatever you plan, you know,
Yeah.
everything has gone out of course. You know, you have not done your warm up, nothing. So you just go there and race, and just look at the tension that I was into for that 1 hour before that.
Yeah.
Not really right for anyone who actually, you know, put in the heart and soul for 1.5 years of training.
Right.
It is not right. But in spite of that, you know, a huge kudos to the winners who do it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing to contain, because if I have faced it, everyone is facing it.
Everyone is facing
So
it. Yeah.
yeah,
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 this is and talking of the results, right? You uh, in the ITT, you all the first three women finished in the same minute with the same time, except for the milliseconds column. It's like
Yeah.
gold. What was the time? 39.
Yeah, 32 minutes, 20 seconds, and it was like point. Basically, my
442
difference
or
with gold
something.
was, yeah, yeah. It was just that
It
my
was
difference
like
with gold was 0.04
0.04
milliseconds.
seconds. It was like
Yeah,
crazy close. Gold,
yeah,
silver, and bronze, which you
bronze.
got, were like super
Yeah,
close. So how
yeah.
did that, how did it feel to be like that close to being called a national champion?
Okay, the thing was like actually I was even very happy to be there because this year when the national circular came, it was a huge shock for me because they had an upper age limit of 35, which wasn't the case till now. I was like, what the hell? I just felt like the whole hell, like, heaven, like everything was crashing above my head. I didn't know what to do, and then I'm like messaging my coach, and he was like telling, no, even as per the UCI standards, there is no upper age limit. Yeah, even if there's a master's category, the athlete decides to participate in elite, he or she can participate. So
Yeah,
what was this? I didn't know why this rule was suddenly put in place. So I was like, okay, few talking, here and there. I didn't know who is going to even represent me. That's the kind of stage we are in. So I directly made a call to the CFI and I requested them saying, I have been participating in nationals like last 3 years, and you can see that I have been improving. Why don't you give me a chance to participate? Because last 1.5 years, I have put in my time and efforts to it. Please
yeah,
give me a chance to participate. And I was even scared. What if they say, okay, and they had by then announced masters for men, but they had
correct,
not announced masters for women.
right,
So I was like, what if they say they will open up masters for women? And if I don't have much registrations, then even otherwise the race is not going to happen.
right,
So I know where it's going to end in. But it was really considerate of CFI to say that, you send in your name through state, we will let you participate. I was like, how come this is actually easy? I have because nothing came to me easy, right? I had to fight. And I was like, okay, are they going to make any confusion in the later end and stuff? So then I won state. Again in state, we had two different groups, so two different places that we had to race. I went to Tiruchendur, did the 2 days race, won first, and then Trichy again did the race, won there. And then I wrote a mail to CFI saying, see, both the list I have come first, so would you let me participate? And then they sent a mail saying, we'd be happy to let you participate. So I was like, wow, so at last I got an opportunity to be there.
yeah,
So when I saw the result, all this point, these 0.040 difference to gold, actually, to be very truthful, I was very happy. I was very happy. I wasn't even looking forward for the result because that race, when I finished, it took me half an hour to come back to my sense. I had never done that's when I realized, okay, this was the toughest race that I have done, and I knew that I had given it all. So no matter what the result is going to be, I am a winner. I have done this, to my satisfaction. So I'm really very happy about it. So when I got the result, probably I was I think this year I'm much composed. Seeing results year after year, anything can go wrong anywhere is
right,
what. So I don't have to blame myself. I
right.
am happy with my performance. So I was like very happy to be there on the podium itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
I must say
not
that
much.
attitude is what sets you apart, right?
Yeah.
You got to think with clarity, that you got to know that once you have given your best, nothing else is in your control, right?
Yeah,
So that,
exactly.
once you know that you couldn't have done anything better, once you
Yeah,
know that you have done your 100%, you have to let go of the results, right? You
Yeah, yeah.
the results, whatever be the result, you have to be happy with that. And
Yes,
so
yes.
I think there would be people who would have finished that close to gold and would have felt really dejected, but
I know. Yeah.
your reaction is that of joy, which is
Yes,
fantastic.
yes.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that is the right attitude to take, and kudos.
Yeah, I think over years, this is
Yeah,
what the sport has done to me,
right.
even the maturity and everything. Well, I'm sure, like, few years back, even I would react with, like, this happened, that happened. But, that is what I wanted cycling to be for me. Because I used to, like, think, okay, I am dreaming of this dream. So what if I don't achieve anything? What if I don't make a big mark? Then it shouldn't be like I have a bad feeling towards cycling. Then later on in my life, I would always like look back at this episode and think, oh my God, I wasted my time on it. I shouldn't be having. So this, I wanted to embrace cycling no matter what, whether I win or I lose. I always have a positive feel when I look back at it. So it didn't come in a day or so, but as I traveled the journey, it naturally, yeah, came to me. So yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good thing, right? That's what
yeah,
you want from the
absolutely,
thing.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But looking at your journey, Avi, I have to say that it is nothing short of uh, I won't call it a miracle because it is not. It is
Yeah.
paved with lot of dedicated hard work. It is
Yes.
filled with uh, consistent hard work and progressive goals is what I see your journey as. And it is an
Yeah.
excellent example for anyone who is looking to work towards something, that you have to take it
Yes.
as a long term thing and consistently work at it, and
Yeah.
nothing is impossible. Would you have thought that uh, when you started your first ride back in 2015, that you have thought that I would be one day on a national podium?
Oh my God, no way. Actually, when what, when I was like thinking, oh, should I even start writing consistent and stuff? So one day, I was like, we were like having a chat, and Srinath sir was like, oh, do you know even the world champion is like a 40-year-old lady? So what is this with the age and stuff? I was like, okay, so I heard the name Kristen Armstrong because I don't actually follow these boats outside, on TV, reasons, nothing. I didn't do all those things. So when I was searching on her, there was this YouTube of Power of Love. So where, how she won 2 Olympics and then she had a baby and she kind of quit. But then when she had a baby, she again dreamt of, going back to Olympic and winning the gold. And she wanted to have her baby son on the podium. So she again started 1 year of her having baby. She worked day in and day out, and in the Olympics she won gold, and she had a son on the podium. And then again she dreams that I want to get on the podium again at an age where my son knows what is there, is aware. Like probably he would have been 4-year-old child who did. So again she won gold, and she had a son on the podium. For whatever the beautiful 2-minute video on the power of love would make my my tears would just drop down, and I would be watching it with so much of emotion. I wouldn't know why, but then the start, the first 2 years before every race, I would sit when I go park my car, I would watch that and my tears would roll down. But this nationals on the podium, when Mr. Viren Singh, when he called on for the bronze, he was like talking about me for 5 minutes, called my son on the podium. I even in the weirdest dream, neither did I have any kind of a thing that they would call my son. And when he came and stood there, it just meant everything. Just imagine, like, rewind 4 years back when I was watching that video. Did I ever think of how would I connect myself with the Olympic winner? That was like a thing. I something touched me, but I couldn't believe that this happened to me for years. So that's the kind of a thing, right? You have something imbibed in you when you really want something, no matter whether you think it consciously or anything, it would kind of happen to you some point of time. That was like, I would like to thank CFA for that opportunity that they gave. It was like amazing. So I really didn't have any complaints after it, because it was really so kind of them to actually have taken back that role and let me participate and give me that that kind of a recognition there on the podium was like a huge thing. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is amazing, right? To have
Yeah.
your kid on the podium with you, and he's
Yeah.
old enough to
Yes.
know all,
Oh.
what mom is
Yeah.
capable of now, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
must be
And
super
back then,
proud.
my daughter was cursing me that I
Yeah.
left her and went. Because of the road race, that hurry, obviously I cannot take in all the kids and sit in the car, right? I had
Right.
to carry my cycle and everything, so
Yeah.
she wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Phenomenal,
that's a good thing.
phenomenal. What a journey. What a journey, Abhi. This is fantastic
Yeah.
hearing your journey. So to conclude this amazing interaction with you, what are some of the tips that you would give, working athletes, including, I would consider a mom, a woman as a working athlete, because she is working 24 hours a day, taking
Yeah.
care of family and everything else, right? World for me would stop without the uh, women doing the amazing stuff they do, right? So what are some of the tips you would give to these amazing people?
Okay, I would say don't think too much. So when you want something, just start doing it. Just do not go out of your way, but just try to embrace it in your life. So that is when you go out of your way to do something, it kind of is short-lived. Yeah, you kind of try to put it in as a routine of your life. So there is a consistency. It just becomes a part of your life. Yeah, so do not think too much. There is always information that will come to you, knowledge that will come to you as you sail through. So even before if I started, if I was like looking too much into all those informations, then probably I would have just said, no, 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 I will not be able to do. It's just, you start walking and then, you continue your journey. So, and age is because, after my win as well, I had a lot of women, calling me and talking to me about the age, the thing. No, age does not matter. Uh, I would always say, once someone just jokingly said, "Oh, you do not plan to retire." Then I said, "Oh, let there be some athlete who would come and beat me in Tamil Nadu. I would with grace, retire." So don't limit yourself. Be out there, and when you're competing, there is absolutely then don't when I'm competing, I don't bring in my age. Yeah, I am equal to 21-year-old girl or 19-year-old girl who's still participating and racing there. So do not have your excuses then. If you make up your mind, do not have your excuse. So there is you will be able to do if your mind really loves something and is going there. So just give that pep and go on. Yeah,
Awesome,
that
Abhi.
would be something I would say.
Thank you so much for taking time and sharing your amazing journey with the Working Athlete podcast audience. And I wish you all the very best for whatever you decide to do from now, be it nationals or whatever. All the very best.
Thank you so much for having me in the program. It's an absolute joy talking to you, walking back that memory lane. It's really lovely. Thank you so much, Venki.
You're welcome. And
Thank you.
audience, please subscribe to the channel and follow Abhi on Instagram on our amazing journey.